Hello everyone, Resin86 here, bringing you another replay, this time in the AMX 5120, the Tier 9 French heavy tank. But this week, it's all about the scouting. See KWP5 and his WZ-131 over there? I'm platooned along with him and with Power, who's in his T-54. And right now, we're giving him a little bit, a few directions, you know, stay below the line, go in, don't knock anything down, don't knock any trees down, and slowly approach the bushes. And hello enemy tanks. So a lot of people actually noticed what KWP5 was doing, so they all started lining up. The Foch, Jagdtiger, Power, and myself and Object 704, and we're completely decimating this enemy team. All of this is thanks to KWP5 over there in his WZ-131. I step back to reload, everybody else is still giving them hell, and we're just telling him, Quip, because that's our pet name for him, Quip, don't you dare open fire. Just stay there, just watch, just spot for all of us back here on the line. I'm practically loaded again, I'm aiming at this KV4, he's not there, we don't know if we hit him, but the Jagdtiger manages to finish him off. See a Tiger 2 over there, but it's not an effective shot. So we just wait. We still have 3 shots. And KV4 side, yes please. Our first shot only tracks him. The second shot actually takes him out. And I only have 1 more shot, so I decide, hey, why the hell not? Let's try. Unfortunately, it bounced, and now I'm reloading again. So far, Quip has not moved. He is just sitting there, he is just spotting. This is passive scouting at its best, people. All he has to do is stay there, do not move, and spot everything in the enemy base. And he's doing one hell of a job. Now, I'm loaded again, T-32 is out. And now we're just looking for more targets. There's still a T-95, an Object 704, and a Lorraine 40T. The Lorraine 40T, we actually managed to see him right now. Unfortunately, we cannot fire at him. We don't have a shot. Now, a T-95. Our first shot bounces, and I know I should not be doing this. I am definitely sure I should not be doing this, but there's nothing better to shoot at. It's true the front of the T-95 is basically impenetrable. However, with the decent accuracy of this gun, I might have gotten lucky and I might have actually been able to get his cupola, which is relatively weak. So right now, an M103 was spotted, but now he's faded back into the fog of war. We're almost loaded again. And again, since there's nothing else to shoot at, might as well give it a try again. First shot misses. The second shot also misses. Third shot bounces. And the last shot also bounces. Oh, no, it misses. Jagdtiger finally takes him out with an HE shell. And now, this is passive spotting. This is the perfect example of passive spotting. It is the almost easiest thing to do once you're in place. It's finding the money spot that is hard. Now, the good thing about spotting and scouting in general is that if you are spotting an enemy tank, anybody that shoots and actually does damage to that tank will give you 50% of his credits and XP at the end of the battle. Now we're loaded. I fire at the Object 704. Unfortunately, it hits the little log wall. And now we're just waiting to see if somebody else pops up. The M103 is up. Our first shot unfortunately bounces. We aim a little lower. And now we're getting effective shots. 1 and 2. And we step back to reload. M103 is down. The 704 is down. At this point, Power is still giving them hell. He's gone up along with the Foch. Quip has not moved, but he is starting to fire at this point. Because he's relatively safe. They've got a Foch and a T-54 to worry about, and they don't really have effective shots on him anymore. Power takes a shot at the M103 and Quip quickly finishes him off. Now the only thing left to fire at here is the Object 704. Take a shot, but it bounces. At least I think that's what they're saying in French. Our second shot also bounces, and our third shot also bounces on the side of a 704. Don't ask, I don't know, it just did. Now we're moving up. I decide to take a reload, but by this moment the battle's practically over. 14-3, now it's just a matter of finding that T-71. There he is. Eventually the Lorraine 40T is the one who's going to finish him off, and we do 2400 damage, we get 2 kills, but that's not what's important. What's important is coming up. Now, onto the score screens. We got 31,000 credits with 1,000 XP along with 2 kills. We fired 23 shots, 19 hit, 10 penetrated. Most of those bounces were on the T-95. For a total damage of 2,393. We damaged 4 enemies, destroyed 2, but that's not what's important here. What I really wanted to show you was this. KWP-5, Quip. He only fired 6 shots, 3 hits, with all 3 penetrating. He only did 500 damage. That's it. He took 1 hit for 750, probably from the Object 04 once he actually started moving and started swarming the last enemy tanks. But he managed to spot 10 enemies, 10 of the enemy team, and did a total spotting damage. The damage done to tanks he was spotting for the team was 10,789. That got him not only the Scout Medal and the Patrol Duty Medal, it got him the top XP and the most XP I have ever seen in a Scout tank, the total XP of 1,408, which was the top XP for the battle, which also got him his Ace Mastery Badge. Alright guys, you may have noticed this week, all about the Scouts. Now me personally, I suck at scouting. I am awful at scouting. It is horrible, horrible to watch me scout. It has actually induced vomit in certain people, the notion of just me scouting. And it's the only reason I do not have a frickin' Bad Chat 25T in my garage at this moment. And if I ever start doing reviews of tanks, you will not see that review probably until the very end when I have nothing else to research. But I digress. There are 2 basic forms of scouting. The active scouting and the passive scouting. There's a 3rd type of scouting, which is the sui scouting, which is a combination of the word scouting and suicide, which, as you can infer, basically implies the running of the tank, which is usually an M5 Stuart for some odd reason, into the enemy, circling around them, hoping not to get blown up to smithereens, which happens anyway, after which you're of no further use to your team. Now, active scouting is not quite sui scouting. It's basically the same thing, but just without the getting blown up into smithereens and the circling of the tanks of the enemy team. Active scouting is going up towards the enemy, spotting as many tanks as you can, which is usually not more than 1 or 2, then doubling back, hiding, waiting until you disappear, while your team does all the damage to the enemy tanks, and then going out, doing it all over again, rinse and repeat until they're all dead. This works a lot better on certain maps. The first one that pops into my head is Steppes. Another one, for example, is Sand River, where it's a wide open map, there's a lot of space to maneuver, and there's a lot of hills that you can hide behind. So it's basically go up, go to the hill, go to the peak, and literally peak, get back down, hide, wait until you disappear, and then pop back up again at a different spot on the hill, in case somebody is actually aiming there, and just rinse, repeat, and repeat, and repeat until they're all dead. Now, what we saw here is passive scouting. Passive scouting is an art. It is one of the hardest things to do in the game because it requires patience. And that is something you do not see many people have in this game. Patience. Now, the hard part of passive scouting is actually finding the place you're going to sit in. It's finding the spot and then staying there. The staying there is the easy part. The next hard part is what most people actually have a problem with. When you're passive scouting, you cannot shoot. Passive scouting relies on not being seen because you're basically sitting there, you're just watching, you're just looking. So passive scouting is all about not getting spotted, finding the perfect spot to overwatch the enemy team, and just sitting there. Not shooting, not doing anything. Just sitting there and waiting. This is one of the most important aspects of the game. It is possibly the hardest aspect of the game, and it is something that many people, I would say over 99% of players, myself included, cannot get to master because it is that hard. But if you actually do manage to master it, it is a blessing for your team, as you have just seen. Alright guys, these rants are obviously getting longer and longer and longer as the weeks go by. I'm going to try to keep them short, but if you liked what you heard, you liked what you saw, give the video a like, subscribe. If you agree with me, or more importantly disagree with me, we'll talk, we'll exchange opinions, and stay tuned because there will be more to come.